and then thoughts, and then mindfulness of the body. And then, so with that, we want to note, when we're seeing, we want to note seeing. When we hear a sound, we want to note hearing. So we want to note the consciousness that arises at the six sense bases. I mean, that's what we can know. Those are our objects to be noted. Hindrances, sense desires, anger, restlessness, sleepiness, and doubt. So those are, today there's a lot of sleepiness. So that's an object to be known, to be noted. So, and those are under the Dhamma classification, the Dhamma side. So going back up to the body, we have the breathing. So we can either note the mindfulness of the breath at the nose, in, out, or the rising and falling of the abdomen. Those are objects to be noted. All the instructions I gave this morning, that's all Satipatthana. So even though we don't have a label Satipatthana, if I'm giving instructions on what to note, how to walk, what to note when you're sitting, when you're eating, noting, chewing, swallowing, that's all Satipatthana. The entire Satipatthana Sutta is objects to note. So if a teacher was talking about objects or what to meditate on for an hour, that's an hour of the Satipatthana Sutta. It falls under that. So walking, we have lifting, moving, placing, left, right. Standing, I explained standing before, where you just feel your feet on the ground. Going from the ball of the foot to the heel of the foot, from the left side to the right side. And then noting each of that, left side, right side, front, back. It's all noting. In the beginning, under Anapanasati, the Buddha says the bhikkhu knows that he is taking a long breath or a short breath. All these quotation marks that you see in the sutta mean to note that. Quotations. Note it. If we're not noting, we're just kind of aware, and that falls under clear comprehension of the body, which is another part of the Satipatthana Sutta. Lying down, when you first wake up, you note the head on the pillow, and then you go down, if you're on your side, and you note the touching points all the way down to your feet, and all the way back up. When you're in a meditation center, you want to be noting from the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep. Continuous noting for 18 hours a day. In this way, we get to purify our mind. We gain concentration. These 5 hindrances go down. Our accuracy of the noting gets more and more powerful, sharper and sharper. So, on this chart I have, on the right side, I have the Rata Vinita Sutta. This is these 2 suttas should be joined at the hip. They should be talked about. If you talk about one, you should talk about the other. Because the Satipatthana Sutta gives the objects to be noted. The Rata Vinita Sutta gives the results. The way to arahantship, the way to Sotapanna, the way to arahantship. So, this sutta is the 7 stages of purification, the 7 relay of chariots, it's also known as. And there's seven stages of purification. It starts off with virtue, purification of mind, which is concentration, samadhi. With that, you come to purification of view, then over the purification by overcoming doubt, purification by knowledge of the path or not path, purification by knowledge of the way, period. Purification by knowledge and vision. The 7th one is the attainment of Nibbana, the experience of Nibbana. And the whole reason to be meditating with and noting these objects is to gain the 7th purification. When a person comes to the purification of view, we start getting into 16 types of insight knowledges. The first one is nama rupa, that's mind and body. Understanding mind and body. So, the Satipatthana Sutta, what are we noting? We're noting mind and body. Objects that arise in the body, objects that arise in the mind. If we have a thought, we note thinking, thinking, thinking. If we have anger in the mind, we note that as an object, we note that anger, anger. Lust, lust, lust. So then, at this nama rupa stage, we get to understand it's just, there's a mind and body. A person that just has jhana, or these other ascetics during the Buddhist time, if they had jhana, they do not come to this understanding of nama rupa. So this is where we go from other religions can have development in meditation. This is unique to the Buddhist teaching, the understanding of this nama rupa. And when we understand nama rupa, there's only these 2 things. What's missing is this idea of soul, this idea of a permanent self. So it's the Buddhist teaching that talks about the anatta doctrine. There is no soul, there is no self. But there is nama and rupa, there is a mind and body. These are realities. Going on down to the 4th insight, knowledge of arising and passing away, that arises at this 5th stage, knowledge of what's the path and not the path. So this is where people think that they get enlightened. You know, they get these 10 defilements, upakalesas. They get a great rapture, bliss, equanimity, very sharp wisdom. They may feel like they're levitating. A light appears in their body called an abhasa. It's a very special level. And some people feel like their body turns into a mass of bubbles and that you can slide your hand through. So body kind of disappears, turns into bubbles. Others feel their body expand. Perception of the body fills the room. They feel their body is as big as the room. They feel very powerful. And at that level, they feel like, I've got it. You know, I've gotten enlightenment. And they get conceited. They feel that their meditation is better than their teachers. You know, I know. So there's a conceit there. And so that is not the path. So these yogis have to note that happiness, that bliss, And a lot of them don't want to do that. So people that take months or years to attain, they have an attachment. They have attachment to that level. Our monk that's staying with me, he was in that level for 3 years. It took me 3 years to get him to meditate, to go higher than that. But he was very happy, as soon as he sits, he can catch the mind and keep it from wandering as soon as he sits. Like here today, we're thinking of this and that, mind's wandering, all kinds of problems. As soon as he sits, 2 or 3 seconds, grab the mind. So his meditation is very, very good. Some of you met him. And so 3 years later, I finally got him to meditate and go through these other higher jhanas. It only took him 3 days to go from this 4th jhana to the 11th jhana. 3 days. So his parami is very high. The 11th jhana is the equanimity of formations. That's another milestone knowledge. It doesn't matter if you're experiencing pleasure or pain, you're equanimous to it. There's no lust for anything. There's no pushing away and no grasping. They're just content. It's a very powerful state of mind. Objects arise, they're seen, objects destroyed. The mind is inclined towards nibbana at that time. And it can take a matter of hours or days from being in that state that they'll attain the Satipatthana, the Maggaphala level. So all of these things arise again through noting. Noting of the nama and the rupa, the mind and body. Because the nama rupa is so important that all these other jhanas are related to that. The arising and passing away knowledge. What's arising and passing away? Mind and body. Later you come up to, you see everything dissolving away. Dissolution. What's dissolving? Mind and body. Everything dissolving away causes fear to arise. So fear arises due to this mind and body disappearing. All these things arise as a cause and effect. So the Buddha's teaching is all about cause and effect. And to understand that. So again, going back to the Satipatthana and things to note, we have some stairs here. That is an excellent object of meditation, walking up and down these stairs. I called it it's a Disneyland of meditation objects, Adventureland. Every step is an adventure. What's happening when you're taking each step? There's a reaching for the baluster, these rods. There's a reaching for that. You feel the muscles in your leg tense or relax. If it's up in the air, they're relaxed. When they touch the step going down, the whole leg, all these muscles tense up. So this can be seen also when we're walking just back and forth. So I didn't mention that earlier. But here's more objects to note when you're walking. So when you get concentrated, you can feel all the muscles in your